Greetings from Fort Mill, South Carolina. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 8 pros and 5 cons of this fast-growing suburb of Charlotte. So let's get started. We'll start with the pro. Fort Mill's access to the Charlotte metro area. As you can see from this map, it's super convenient to get into Charlotte from Fort Mill using I-77. And as you cross into the city, you'll be right by the I-485 loop that runs around Charlotte. This means it's really easy to get where you want to go in the metro area, starting from I-77 or 485. So whether you want to visit Charlotte for a job, shopping, a professional sports game, or a concert, it's really easy to do any one of those things. The next pro to consider is the sense of community you'll encounter here. Fort Mill is really the quintessential suburban town. In Fort Mill, you'll find not only a historic downtown, but you'll also find lots of signs of civic engagement. For example, around Halloween, the town holds a scarecrow contest, and you'll find these cool scarecrows all over town. The town also has various rec sports leagues, not only for kids, but for adults as well, where you can play pickleball or softball or various other things. The town has a small community theater program called the Fort Mill Community Playhouse. And in the summer, Fort Mill holds a series of outdoor concerts at Ann Springs Greenway. And the next thing you should be aware of is that Fort Mill is known for having outstanding restaurants and taverns. Basically, there are 3 great walkable areas that are loaded with lots of great restaurants. The first is Baxter Village, which you see here. Baxter has a bunch of excellent places to eat, including Iliad, which has some tasty Greek food. And less than a mile away from Baxter is the Kingsley development. Kingsley is another mixed-use development which opened in 2019. And finally, Fort Mill has a bona fide downtown, which you see here. Compared with Kingsley and Baxter Village, Fort Mill's downtown area has more independent restaurants. And if you visit, be sure to check out the Improper Pig. This place has amazing barbecue and has been featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives. Now, I moved from Boston about 20 years ago, and the Improper Pig has the best barbecue I've tasted anywhere. So to summarize, let's just say you won't go hungry in this town. Well, earlier in this video, I talked about Fort Mill's accessibility to Charlotte, as well as its awesome restaurants. But one con is that Fort Mill covers a really big area geographically. And many of the town's newer neighborhoods are pretty far, both from Charlotte and from the town's main retail areas. So some of the benefits that we've talked about so far really depend on where you live. By the way, I haven't mentioned this earlier, but I'm Tom Palmer with Terra Vista Realty. And if you're looking for a home in Fort Mill, feel free to give me a call anytime. I'd love to help. You can find my contact information in the description below this video. Getting back to the pros and cons. Another pro is Fort Mill actually has a lot of major employers. In the Kingsley development, you'll find large corporate tenants like the Lash Group and LPL Financial. Other major corporate employers include Ross Stores Distribution, US Foods, Shutterfly, and a bunch of others. So Fort Mill may be a suburban town, but it's not just a bedroom community. Big businesses are choosing to move here. And partially because of all the companies choosing to move to Fort Mill, the town's population has grown from about 11,000 in 2010 to over 32,000 today. This incredible growth makes Fort Mill one of America's fastest growing cities. But one con is that this growth is causing traffic issues. When there are accidents on the roadways, some Fort Mill roads can turn into virtual parking lots. Now, town government has been trying to keep up with the growth through road widening and resurfacing efforts, but traffic is still an issue. Pro number 5 is that Fort Mill has a really low crime rate. A company called Safewise recently rated every city and town in South Carolina based on the crime rate. And Fort Mill was named as the #1 safest town in the entire state. Not too shabby. The town has low rates of property crime and low rates of violent crime. The next con is that shopping options are a bit limited in Fort Mill. To get to a lot of higher end boutiques, you'll have to go to South Charlotte. And the town is missing a lot of popular retailers like Costco, Target, Trader Joe's, and Whole Foods. Even though Fort Mill does have a lot of great restaurants and supermarkets, the shopping options are still a little bit limited. And the next pro is that Fort Mill has outstanding schools. According to Carolina School Hub, 3 out of the top 15 high schools in South Carolina happen to be located in Fort Mill. You can see the high school ratings here, and they're really good, with all the schools getting a 10 out of 10 score. But at the same time, the school overcrowding is also a con. Fort Mill schools have added a whopping 7,000 students over the past decade, and a few Fort Mill schools recently had to make temporary enrollment freezes because of the growth. Now, this has happened several times in past years, but fortunately the town has continually built new schools. The next pro is that Fort Mill has lots of fun things to do in the area. Right along the northern border of Fort Mill, you'll find Carowinds, which is considered one of the best amusement parks in America. Also, Lake Wylie is just a short drive from Fort Mill for those of you who want to get out on the lake on a hot summer day. And Fort Mill has a couple of outstanding options for golf in town. The Fort Mill Golf Club and Springfield, both of which are public courses. Another pro is that Fort Mill has a new hospital, which opened in 2022. They've got 100 beds and offer emergency services, surgeries, and maternity care. Yet another pro is the town has a bunch of excellent public parks. The biggest is the Ann Springs Close Greenway, where you'll find about 2,100 acres and 36 miles of trails. There you can go hiking, biking, horseback riding, and kayaking. The Greenway also hosts outdoor concerts and other special events. Getting back to the cons, I can tell you that Fort Mill is one of the more competitive places where you can buy a home. Previously owned homes have been selling after a median of about 11 days on the market for the past 90 days. This is a little faster than the rest of the Charlotte metro area. And for the past 90 days, the median price for a single-family resale home has been about $513,000. By the way, if you need help figuring out what Fort Mill neighborhood is right for you, feel free to give me a call anytime. I'd love to help. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, then be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Finally, to learn more about other areas near Fort Mill, click one of the videos you see here. Thanks for watching.